At least 11 people, including a child, are killed in violence following Kenya's presidential election. No judgment. Midwives drop their natural birth campaign, saying it makes mums feel like failures. The wind of change, how a breezy British summer has seen supplies of renewable energy soar. And shaking it off, victory for Taylor Swift as a US judge rejects claims she got a DJ fired.
In sport, the Premier League is back. Mo Salah has put Liverpool 3-2 up on his Premier League debut, around 20 minutes to go in that one. And Chelsea begin the defence of their title against Burnley an hour from now.
A very good afternoon to you. Boris Johnson has said Kim Jong-un is responsible for the crisis over North Korea's nuclear programme and must fix it now. The Foreign Secretary said the international community stands shoulder to shoulder against Pyongyang's aggressive acts. It comes as President Trump has told the governor of Guam that the island has become extremely famous and that the US territory will be taken care of.
We are with you 1,000%. You are safe. We are with you 1,000%. And I wanted to call you and say hello. How are you?
Mr. President, as the governor of Guam, representing the people of Guam, and as an American citizen, I have never felt more safe or so confident with you at the helm. So,
expenditure of no money, so I congratulate you. Now, it looks beautiful. You know, I'm watching. You're showing so much. It's such a big story in the news, and it just looks like a beautiful place.
Well, earlier on, reacting to the ramping up of tensions, Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson intervened in a series of tweets. He said, "We are working with the US and our partners in the region to bring this crisis to a diplomatic end. The international community is shoulder to shoulder in ensuring North Korea stops its aggressive acts. The North Korean regime is the cause of this problem and they must fix it." In Kenya, 11 people, including at least one child, have been killed in violence following the re-election of President Kenyatta. Two of those killed were shot out on the outskirts of Nairobi, where the opposition leader, Raila Odinga, has strong support. Mr. Odinga claims the vote was rigged, but the country's main poll monitoring organisation says it's found no evidence of manipulation. Sky's Dan Whitehead has this report.
There are calls for unity in Kenya.
Midwives have ended a 12-year campaign for so-called normal births, saying that it made some women feel like failures. The Royal College of Midwives had argued that more women should give birth without caesarean, induction or epidural. Its chief executive denies the campaign has compromised safety. Well, writing in The Times, she said there was a danger that if you just talk about normal births, and particularly if you call it a campaign, it kind of sounds as if you're only interested in women who have a vaginal birth without intervention. What we don't want to do is in any way contribute to any sense that a woman has failed because she hasn't had a normal birth. Unfortunately, that now seems to be how some women feel. Well, earlier on, parenting experts said women shouldn't feel like they've let themselves down.
I really do think that we as women need to kind of get over any idea that anyone's trying to make us feel like a failure or feel guilty for having a non-normal birth. They're all normal, they're all abnormal, they're all...
A man arrested on suspicion of causing grievous bodily harm after a jogger pushed a woman into the path of an oncoming bus in Putney has been eliminated from the investigation. The 41-year-old man was arrested on Thursday after police released the video of a 33-year-old victim being pushed in front of the bus on Putney Bridge on the 5th of May. He's now been released with no further action, and officers are appealing for any witnesses for information who recognise the jogger on the CCTV. They want them to get in touch. Police investigating the murder of an elderly man as he walked his dogs have made an arrest. 83-year-old Peter Wrighton was found stabbed to death in Woodland near East Harling in Norfolk last Saturday. A local man in his 20s is being held on suspicion of murder. Police are hunting 27-year-old Joshua Cohen over the double murder of a mother and daughter in northwest London. The two victims, aged 33 and 66, were found stabbed to death at an address in Golders Green last night. The suspect is white male with short-cropped hair and was last seen wearing a red Nike hooded sweatshirt. He's known to have mental health issues, including paranoid schizophrenia. At least 35 children have died in a hospital in India over the past 3 days. The children's parents allege the deaths were because of a lack of oxygen supply in the children's ward. A distinct magistrate said the deaths of all the children are being treated for different ailments. They were due to natural causes, they say, and not down to a lack of oxygen. A 19-year-old British water sports instructor has died while snorkelling in Greece. Harry Byatt, pictured here, was found unconscious on the seabed at a depth of around 30 metres on the 6th of August. Doctors tried to revive him once he was brought back to the surface, but he was pronounced dead in hospital. A former Oxford University employee who's accused of killing a Chicago man has appeared in court for the first time since his arrest. Andrew Warren and US Professor Wyndham Latham are facing murder charges after a 26-year-old hairdresser was found dead in Latham's apartment. A senior UKIP MEP has quit his post as a party whip over a controversial anti-Islam activist that's now been cleared to stand in UKIP's leadership contest. Anne-Marie Waters has described the religion as evil and poisonous. In a statement, Mike Hookham said he was not prepared to turn a blind eye to extremism. Well, I'm pleased to say we can speak to him now. A very good afternoon to you, Mr. Hookham. First of all, just describe to me exactly why you have chosen to resign.
Well, I believe I joined a party 10 years ago that was libertarian and non-racist, and I believe that's what the party is. We have now got a woman who is, in my opinion, a racist, and she's been allowed to stand. She wasn't allowed to stand in the Westminster election. She wasn't allowed to stand in the Police and Crime Commission election. So how can she be allowed to stand now for the top job? I think it's the wrong decision. I will not be party to this. And I will not support or condone this.
And Nigel Farage has said if UKIP becomes an anti-Islam party, it's finished. Is he right?
Yes, he is. We're not an anti-Islam. You cannot attack one particular section of society. We are a libertarian, anti-racist party. You know, we've always said we're against mass migration into this country. We are not a racist party. We're talking about jobs and people taking the jobs from the British people. It's, we are not a racist party. I just cannot believe that we have been allowed to, accept this woman into the party as a member, for one, and to be allowed to stand as a party leader.
I mean, she says that her thoughts on banning the burqa and having a temporary freeze on all immigration would strike a chord with voters. Can you see her point of view, or is she completely incorrect?
Because at the last election, we had a policy on the Muslim religion, and it didn't go down well on the doorstep. The people on the doorstep at elections, if we want to be a serious political party, we want to be elected, we have to speak to people on the doorstep about education, about NHS, about jobs, about energy. That's what we have to be speaking about. It's not about a religion.
And where does UKIP go from here? Because after the last snap election, they're pretty much a non-existent party, aren't they? Is there an argument that UKIP cannot survive without Nigel Farage?
Well, we're still the largest party in the European Union. We still have over 300 councillors across the country. We can, if we speak and we talk on the doorstep to the electorate, we can become a credible party. I believe with the right leader that will happen. At the moment, I can't see that leader of any of the candidates that stand in.
And this decision to allow Anne-Marie Waters to stand for the leadership, do you think that will create big divisions within the party?
I think it will. I think there's a lot of people, a lot of my colleagues are not happy about this. As I said, they see this as a racist, this woman to be racist. They're not happy with that. So it's going to cause a disturbance within the party. I think it was a wrong decision by the NEC. They shouldn't have allowed this woman to stand. We have to see where they go with this.
And do you think other people will stand down?
It's up to them. They have to make a personal decision. This was my decision. And can I say that I made this decision on the Thursday when I informed the interim party leader that I will be standing down as a deputy whip. So my decision was made before the decision by the NEC. And I've made the right decision, I believe. with the NEC's allowing it to stand.
So why exactly are you not leaving the party then?
I believe and I know that I was elected as an MEP, but when people elect an MEP, they are voting for the party. So I was elected as a UKIP MEP. I will serve out my time as a UKIP MEP, and I will fight. And at the moment, I'm the fisheries spokesman. I'm fighting on behalf of the fishermen across the country. I will carry on doing that. I will carry on fighting within the European Parliament. And, you know, that's my job, and I will carry on doing that.
OK, thanks very much for your time. Appreciate that this afternoon.
Thank you.
You're watching Sky News. Coming up, how are Labour going to use the momentum of their surprise general election headway?
/NHS.
Welcome back. Now, ministers will look at new measures to tackle the rogue use of laser pens amid concerns over attacks on pilots and train drivers. It comes after 2 British tourists were threatened with fines for allegedly pointing laser beams at passenger planes arriving at Malaga Airport. Schemes already exist in countries such as Australia, Canada and the United States. Well, earlier on, we asked the Chief Executive of the UK Flight Safety Committee, Di Whittingham, why restrictions on laser pointers had not already been introduced in the UK.
Well, this last year we had just over 1,250 attacks. Particularly, we think we need control on the power levels because whatever the other effects are, the injuries are permanent. They are permanent and can be life-changing.
A judge has dismissed allegations that Taylor Swift got a radio DJ fired. David Mueller accused Ms Swift of slandering him over her claims that he groped her. But the judge said he couldn't prove the singer had ruined his career. However, court proceedings to consider Ms Swift's allegations that he sexually assaulted her will continue, as Sky's Laura Bundock reports.
She's one of pop's biggest names.
Biggest fan.
The jury will consider the singer's case next week. Laura Bundock, Sky News.
Now, just a bit of breaking news to bring you here, and a 27-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of a double murder in Golders Green. You remember at that story, a 33-year-old and 66-year-old woman found dead in a property there, found with stab wounds. So that news breaking, a 27-year-old man has been arrested and he was spotted apparently by a passer-by in Golders Green Park. We'll bring you the latest on that as and when we get it. Well, for now, you're watching Sky News. Let's get an update on the sports.
This programme is brought to you by Vitality Health and Life Insurance. Getting active brings its own rewards.
Why don't they just make their minds up or down?
Good afternoon. The Premier League is back and it's been a dramatic start. Watford have just equalised in the 4th minute of stoppage time at Vicarage Road. It's seconds away from the full-time whistle going at Vicarage Road. Looks like it's going to end Watford 3, Liverpool 3. 13 goals in the first 2 Premier League games of the season, and no doubt plenty more this afternoon. We'll bring you the latest from 3 o'clock.
And that's a wrap. Marvellous. Who's sorting out these extras?
Well, let's take a look at the weather now, shall we?
As showers wash over the UK, Australia soaks up some fun in the sun.
Well, most places will enjoy decent sunny spells and lighter winds today. There will, though, be some scattered showers, I'm afraid, mainly across central and northern parts. After a cloudy morning in the southeast of England, brighter skies will continue to develop this afternoon. Thicker cloud and showery rain across southern Scotland and northern England will also break up throughout the afternoon. Otherwise, it will be mainly sunshine and just the odd light shower, mainly in the north and the west.
The weather, sponsored by Qatar Airways.
You're watching Sky News. Here's a look at what's coming up.
England beat the West Indies. The first test from Edgbaston, live on Sky Sports Cricket.
Welcome back. You're watching Sky News. The top stories. China's president has intervened over North Korea, telling Donald Trump to stop using language that exacerbates tensions in the region. At least 11 people, including a child, have been killed in violence in Kenya following the country's presidential election. And midwives have dropped a 12-year-long campaign for the so-called normal birth, saying it made women feel like failures. Well, the left-wing group Momentum is launching a national training network which aims to teach thousands of Labour Party members how to lead a populist electoral campaign. Well, the grassroots operation, which grew out of Jeremy Corbyn's 2015 Labour leadership bid, is holding its first Train the Trainers event. Well, John McTernan is a former Labour government political strategist. He joins us now. Very good afternoon to you. Firstly, if you will, just explain to our viewers the relationship that exists between Momentum and the Labour Party.
So Momentum is within the Labour Party. It's made up of members of the Labour Party, most of whom joined the Labour Party to support Jeremy Corbyn. They're very strong supporters of Jeremy Corbyn, and many people who saw them join the Labour Party to support Jeremy Corbyn in his leadership elections were sceptical that they'd do anything more than pay their money, £3, and cast their ballot. It turns out there's lots of energy amongst Momentum members, and they were a part of the successful Labour campaign in the last general election, which won so many seats, particularly in London and the south east of England. So there's a worry that they're so large and getting so well organised that they might become a party within a party. But when they do things like this, or their big ideas conference, the World Transformed, they're adding something, some richness to the Labour Party that's not in any political party, any other political party in Britain, or even actually in Europe at the moment. So it's a very interesting initiative.
So they are huge supporters of Jeremy Corbyn, campaigning essentially for him. Are they the best hope for Labour's future?
Oh, look, the thing is, Jeremy Corbyn did such a great job at the general election. There's no question of his leadership being under any threat from anybody. So the question now is, how can the Labour Party build on the, you know, not to make a pun, but the momentum of the last general election? How can it build on those votes in the London borough elections next year? You know, after winning the Kensington by-election, after the tragic fire at Grenfell Tower, can Labour win Kensington Council? So there's all kinds of targets which are electoral targets, and the real test for Momentum and supporters of Jeremy Corbyn is, can they take their enthusiasm and make it into an election supporting victory? They're not the best hope for Labour's future, but without them, Labour would be weaker. So together, long-time Labour Party members like myself and activists and MPs, together with the new Momentum activists, with that energy, we should be able to dictate the terms of politics in Parliament and dictate
sorry
the
to
election
interrupt
victory.
you, but there has got to be a danger surely here, because Momentum are going to be wanting something back for the influence that they're having. Yeah,
well, my experience in my local area is, of course, I don't agree with Momentum members about every single thing in politics. But I'm a member of Momentum myself. I joined it because of the energy around that movement. And so far, there haven't been the political fights. And I think that you're right, the danger is that is to turn inwards and to fight within the Labour Party, to change MPs, change councillors. So far, that's not shown it, and this is a good sign of campaigning in the streets and in our communities. If Momentum decide they want to purify the party, then certainly I, as a Momentum member, will oppose that, and I think lots of Labour Party members will oppose that as well.
Jeremy Corbyn, of course, campaigning over the summer, but hasn't had the great start with criticism over Venezuela. Yeah,
well, I think we have to be clear about this. I oppose Jeremy Corbyn's support of Chavez and his support of Maduro, and I think that the silence is wrong from a leader. But the public made their mind up about Jeremy Corbyn's views about foreign policy in the election. It didn't matter. The mainstream media, the papers, didn't stop broadcasting. Didn't stop, publishing attacks on him. The Tory party, the government, haven't stopped attacking him on it. The public don't care about that. Well, to be more to the point, they care far more about solving the housing crisis than they care about which side you support in a foreign country in Latin America. And foreign affairs is a good way to stand to show your virtue politically, but the practical details of life in Britain are going to be about wages, they're going to be about houses, they're going to be about the health service. And that's where Jeremy Corbyn has been campaigning successfully over the summer, and now he's come back into the fray. I think we might see more pressure put on the government by him campaigning in August and September, running up to party conference.
OK, John McTernan, thanks very much for your time this afternoon. Appreciate your expertise and your thoughts. Well, now it's time for a roundup of this week's technology news. Here's Gemma.
Bringing the latest technology to your home. The Swipe Report on Sky News is sponsored by Currys PC World and Philips Hue.
Welcome to Swipe from the Gfinity Esports Arena in London. Here's what we've got for you on this week's programme.
Divided. Angela Barnes, Sky News in Paris, France.
Well, that's it for this week, but don't forget to join us again for more Swipe next week. And why not follow us on Twitter at Sky News Swipe. See you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bringing the latest technology to your home. The Swipe Report on Sky News is sponsored by Currys PC World and Philips Hue.
You're watching Sky News. Coming up in the sport after the... welcome back. We just got some breaking news to bring you, and a senior Kenyan opposition official has said that 100 innocent Kenyans have been killed. Of course, there have been high tensions in the country following the presidential campaign, and they're saying that includes 10 children. Of course, Kenyatta won the election for a second term. I should point out, though, that we cannot verify these reports. They are from an opposition official. Now, a brain cancer patient who is to undergo his 100th round of chemotherapy is to kayak 100 miles to raise funds for brain tumour research. Well, his name is Ben Linden, and Isabel Webster spoke to the man himself a little earlier on.
I just decided that, there's not enough research going into this, but there is no funding going into it at all.
You're watching Sky News. Now, the Premier League season is back. Let's get the latest sport with Jamie.
Thanks, Rebecca. Yes, the Premier League is back, and there have already been plenty of goals, 13 of them, in fact, in just 2 games. Across the country, the teams are walking out for the 3 o'clock kickoffs. We'll bring you all the latest from those when we see you next. Jeff Stelling and the boys are across on Sky Sports News.
Now, there's a bit of sunshine out there today. Is it set to continue? Let's take a look at the weather.
As a cool evening settles over India, the lights shine bright on a crisp New York night.
Most places will enjoy decent sunny spells and lighter winds today. There will be some scattered showers, mainly across central and northern parts. After a cloudy morning in the southeast of England, brighter skies will continue, I'm pleased to say, this afternoon. Thicker cloud and showery rain across southern Scotland and northern England will also break up throughout the afternoon.
The weather, sponsored by Qatar Airways.